Releasing it all. I'm Christy Lee, and I'll have how Democrats are reacting to letting the public see all the footage from January 6th. Former President Trump is speaking out against warmongering, and he's naming names. Quality education took a hit after the pandemic, but it's especially suffering in certain areas. Find out what they have in common. Plus, another study raises even more concerns about the COVID jabs. Starting today with releasing all 41,000 hours of January 6 footage. Democrats don't want us to be able to see all of it. Why is that? According to The Hill, it's a dangerous decision. Democrats see a security threat in McCarthy sending January 6 video to Tucker Carlson. They say releasing the raw could reveal methods used by law enforcers to defend the Capitol complex, details the investigators say they took pains to obscure. You see, former House Select Committee members were able to pick and choose what the public were able to see before, and how that shapes the perception of what happened on January 6th. But allowing Tucker Carlson's team to do the same would be dangerous. Rep. Jamie Raskin says somehow getting to see all the actual raw footage supports conspiracy theories. Well, Tucker says the show's producers are looking at the footage previously withheld from the public to see whether or not it contradicts the narrative that's been told for the past 2 years. Turning now to Trump, who's doubling down on his anti-war message.
World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America Last globalists and the deep state, the Pentagon, the State Department, and the national security industrial complex. One of the reasons I was the only president in generations who didn't start a war is that I was the only president who rejected the catastrophic advice of many of Washington's generals, bureaucrats, and the so-called diplomats who only know how to get us into conflict, but they don't know how to get us out.
Trump slams President Biden and Victoria Nuland by name and says the invasion of Ukraine would have never happened under his watch. He says the warmongering is all about money and power.
At the end of my next 4 years, the warmongers and frauds and failures in the senior ranks of our government will all be gone, and we will have a new group of competent national security officials who believe in defending America's vital interests above all else.
Well, Trump says the Ukraine conflict could be ended in 24 hours with the right leadership. President Biden continues to keep the conflict simmering. With his recent surprise visit to Ukraine, he's pledged even more money and more weapons, and he's not alone. Breitbart reports House Republicans visit Kyiv and say there is strong bipartisan support to give Ukraine everything that it needs. But the American people are becoming less supportive of the efforts. A Pew Research survey found that over the past year, the percentage of those who believe the U.S. is providing too much aid to Ukraine has increased by 19%. That sentiment has grown among both parties. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has warned that the House will not continue to support writing a blank check to Ukraine. And 11 House Republicans, led by Rep. Matt Gaetz, are backing a Ukraine fatigue resolution to end all funding to Ukraine and urge the warring nations to reach a peace agreement. Standardized test scores suffered their largest year-to-year drop in history following near nationwide lockdowns, according to a report published last December. But some areas have been hit harder than others. 60 Illinois schools have 0 students proficient in either math or reading, according to National File. 23 schools, 18 of which are located in Chicago, had 0 students demonstrating grade-level proficiency in either subject last year. The Chicago analysis comes just weeks after an examination of Baltimore public schools, revealing similarly troubling results. In Baltimore, 23 public schools had 0 students at grade-level proficiency in math. The massive drop-off has led a handful of Democrats to break party ranks and question the disastrous effects of lockdowns. Illinois State Senator Willie Preston says he's going to be addressing the issue feverishly. Scientists strongly speculate a COVID vax can cause the body's immune system to attack the brain. A report published in the peer-reviewed journal Medicine describes a 29-year-old with a history of headache and fever for 9 days and 6 days, respectively, who developed autoimmune encephalitis, a condition where the immune system attacks the brain after receiving a SARS-CoV-2 vaccine. The authors write AE can cause a range of neurological symptoms, including psychiatric symptoms such as behavioral changes, memory and cognitive dysfunction, and seizures. The onset of symptoms typically occurs within 1 to 3 weeks following vaccination. So here's today's takeaways. Democrats don't want you to be able to see all the raw footage from January 6th, because if you see everything that actually happened, it's a conspiracy theory. And they see no problem with their selective editing, but if anyone else can, it's dangerous. Trump says we're on the brink of World War III and we must encourage peace. Well, the Biden administration sends over more money and weapons to keep the Russia-Ukraine conflict going. A handful of Democrats are now speaking out about the devastating consequences of lockdowns on education. And we have yet another peer-reviewed study sounding the alarm about the potential dangers of COVID vaccination. For the latest top headlines, be sure to go to AmericanFaith.com and subscribe to our daily newsletter. For American Faith, news you can trust, I'm Christy Lee.